So, as you know, we've talked to our actor. Now it's time to talk to a very special companion. One who I completely love talking to. It's Gaichu. Hello again. How may I help you? Any thoughts about the last one? I'm not certain what insight I could grant you. I was not present for that mission. Let's talk about you being a ghoul, man. We kinda want the story. As you wish. You are my benefactor, and as such, I yield to you. And then I will do my best to answer. Yeah, I still can't do, like, a Japanese accent. I'm sorry. It's not happening. How do I know that the team is safe around here? Because, in the world of Shadowrun, ghoulification is actually super, super scary. Because I give you my word that I will not harm you or anyone else on the team. Gaichu squares his shoulders, expression stony. I am a man with a disease, not a mindless beast. My word is my bond. Okay? I can accept that. Good. I would hate to think there is lingering distrust between us. Aside from being blind, how's it affected you? Aside from my heightened senses of smell and hearing, so he's Daredevil basically, I'm stronger, tougher, and more resilient than any mundane human. I can achieve feats of physicality that are normally restricted to adepts and those with extensive enhancement. Gaichu lifts one hand, fingers crooked to show off his elongated nails, claws really. These as well, as sharp as any small knife. I prefer my sword, but in a grapple they come in extremely handy. He draws one nail over the surface of his shoulder plate. A hair-fine spiral of armor peels off and the nails wake. Wow, that's actually pretty legit. Do you need sleep? Gaichu chuckles, his laughter rasping out over his lips. Unfortunately, I do. I'm not an undead creature of legend. If I manage to unlock the secrets of rest without sleep, I will be certain to inform you. Your condition's stabilized? Because, you know, you can't get, like... that's not really becoming. But now it has. It will suddenly become a ravenous beast. I will not suddenly become a ravenous beast lurking in the hold of your ship. At least no more than I already am. Gaichu bares his teeth in a weary grin, dipping his head a little. Can't read today. Why'd you pick the name Gaichu? It was given to me. That is what the Japanese call ghouls. For the most part, I am a vermin, a thing shunned by polite society, to be hunted and slain for bounty. My old life is gone. It seemed as apt a name for the streets as any other that I could choose. Huh. I like that attitude. Gaichu dips his head in agreement. One does not defeat the enemy solely by strength of arms. One must turn one's own weakness into strengths. It is an old and valuable lesson too often forgotten. The armor is pretty heavy, and it's very distinctive. Are the Red Samurai going to just, like, come in and stab us? That is correct. It is the armor worn by the elite soldiers of the Renraku Corporation, military. The Red Samurai, or the Red Sams, the Renraku Military's Special Operations Division, the most elite that the corporation has to offer, on par with Ares Firewatch or Tyr Tarangriers. Can't say it. Ghosts. Red Samurai are world-class soldiers assigned to only the most difficult and important missions. That's a rare thing for a Shadowrun to have. That is true. It is considerably less rare for a Red Samurai to have a suit of it, however, even if he goes rogue. So you were a Red Samurai. Interesting. Indeed. For the entirety of my adult life, I was a member of the Renraku military, specifically the Red Samurai. That changed relatively recently. I feel the reasons are abundantly clear. Hence, I still possess my armor, my sword, my training. They have served me well in both my previous life and this one. How'd you end up running? Because this is kind of crazy. Gaichu rasps out a coughing laugh that reverberates the cramped room. What other employment is appropriate for a cannibal whose only previous experience is in military operations? There are not many things I know how to do. This is one of them. That does explain why you fled your... You weren't always a ghoul, though. In theory, the Red Samurai who are wounded are given the best in medical treatment and cybernetics. If these are insufficient to return them to active duty, they are given a pension and retired. In practice, this is never the case. Why is that? Red Samurai teams do everything together: eat, sleep, train, play. We learn to think for each other, move as a single entity. We are part of a team that is broken. It affects everyone. Oh, snap. Gaichu runs his claws over his scalp, sighing. The other members of the unit would be distracted, thinking about a wounded comrade, and would resent a new member for usurping the old member's place. So, you kill yourself, seppuku? So they would invariably take the same course of action for the good of the team. Ritual suicide, seppuku. Oh, snap. So, Red Samurai are legit. They're pretty crazy. Interesting way to ensure unit cohesion. Perhaps in the UCAS or other Western countries it would not be necessary. But for us, the laws of etiquette are different. Some call it extreme, but it is always done willingly. Or almost always, I should say. He didn't do it. In my case, I became infected while on a sabotage mission against Shiwase in Osaka. The unit was exfiltrating on foot from Naniwa World through the Arinchuku slums. We had not anticipated a ghoul nest on our route. My surprise got the better of me and I was bitten. Understand that since the passage of the Yamamoto Act, Japan is a pure country. Metahumans are deported. Yeah, this is actually the crazy part about Japan in Shadowrun. They are highly not feeling any type of metahumans. You could be whatever, and they're just like not feeling it. Let me bump that over there. I apologize. Understand that since this was in effect the same as being permanently crippled in the eyes of the team, it was expected that I would kill myself. Why didn't you? Because I was still capable of fighting. I questioned the necessity of suicide. Why should I die? It was still in effect. I was still as effective as before. Was I not worth having simply because my diet changed? One does not discard a quality tool simply because the surface is stained. So, I really like Gaichu for this reason. It's the fact that he got a disease, he got something, and there's a thought that because of that disease, he is not able to function, when that's not the case. Say, like, I remember watching something a long time ago where it was talking about Magic Johnson, and how he got AIDS, and it was talking about, oh, you know, it was very soon after what happened with him. And he said, I'm still an amazing basketball player, and he proved it in this video. But it was just something that I felt I had to do. Gaichu's whole thing is, okay, so I got a disease. I can still play ball. Why are you forcing me into retirement? Why are you basically killing me off when I'm still perfectly good? I've just changed my diet and I look a little bit different. So I really like that interesting take on diseases and possible, you know, issues, like say a soldier may lose his leg, may lose his leg and then is able to somehow still carry about their task but is still discharged. You know, it's one of those things. I made the decision to leave while the unit was allowing me time to prepare for my expected suicide. I took nothing but my weapons, armor, and a small number of personal mementos. I knew that the unit would hunt me down and kill me. Ghouls are considered vermin in Japan. To have a Red Samurai become one and refuse to die, unconscionable. How long did it take for them to find you? They found me 2 weeks later after I ran. I was careless as I fled south, and they caught up with me in Fukuoka, but I escaped barely. It was at the point I decided that I should leave Japan. I knew they would not stop hunting me, but I could make it more difficult for them. How'd you end up in Hong Kong? I was searching for a cure. I needed a place where I could disappear into the shadows, find work, and evade capture if a cure did not materialize. The Yamamoto Act made it that it was even more dangerous to be in Japan than anywhere else. Gaichu smiles thinly, leaning back on his heels. I went to China primarily because I still hoped to be able to return home. It felt less final if I fled to somewhere nearby. Makes sense. I went first to Shanghai, but Renraku's presence there is significantly more robust than in Hong Kong. I learned that my precious unit had not stopped hunting me after I left Japan, so I decided to move further afield. Gaichu unfurls his hands, claws pointing toward the ceiling. Hence Hong Kong. Where else can anyone arrive and disappear without the city carrying one with? Seattle? If Renraku were not building that towering archaeology to dominate the skyline, I would agree with you. Since it clearly has that kind of influence in the city, it seems unwise to make my residence there. Gaichu runs his nails over his chin. Besides, I've always lived in Hong Kong. It has more character than the UCAS, which is what is now technically what's left of the United States of America. Since arriving here, I've drifted between neighborhoods, selling my services to those who are unafraid of my appearance and condition. Gaichu frowns deeply. It has not been as profitable as I had hoped. Did you grow up in the corporation? Yes. Nope. The Kyoto-Osaka-Kobe sprawl. It is less populated than Neo-Tokyo, but not by much. I grew up in East Kobe, where my father was posted in a Renraku complex. Gaichu. Oh! He reached into his thing of mementos. He pulls out a picture of a young man, obviously Gaichu, leans against a rail which overlooks a sprawling harbor complex of skyscrapers and cranes. His school uniform is ripped, and the beginnings of a black eye are forming. Abrasions cover his knuckles and blood dots his pants. Despite this, he's grinning like he's just won the lottery, vibrant, fierce. Oh, you look a little beat up there. Ah, that must be on Mount Maya. If I remember right, I gave better than I got in that fight. 3 against 1, but they were out of shape and cocky. I used to cause a lot of trouble when I was in school. My father was constantly raging that I had no sense of responsibility, and that I needed to take life more seriously. A cackle erupts from Gaichu's sudden mirth spreading across his face. The final straw was when he bailed me out of jail. That would have tried Raven's patience too. That is the curse of fathers everywhere, to have their children giving them ulcers. Especially true for high, strong, authoritarian ones like Asajiro. My friend and I stole a delivery van. It had a shipment of Shawasi Simpson decks. Brand new, very expensive. We were going to fence them and use the money to take a trip to Okinawa. Gaichu pauses, cocking his head. Are you familiar with what it's like to grow up in a corporate family? Not a clue. You have to understand, children are trained to hate rival corporations. We did not regard a theft of Shawasi goods as illegal. We were simply doing our part to ensure Renraku's supremacy. That's also kind of interesting. Just the logic behind that. This kind of behavior is ignored and even tactically encouraged by company media. Unfortunately, we were caught by Shawasi, not Renraku. You think your father approved secretly? I doubt it very much. For him, the activity was not the issue. It was that I was caught and embarrassed both the company and him. He is very much a man who believes that there is a proper way to do things, and I had once again cut corners. What did your father do next? Gaichu clicks his tongue a few times. He seems reluctant to continue. That is a story for another time, unfortunately. I still have a lot of arranging to do. Come back later? Can't you tell me anything more? If you come back later, perhaps. So we should be able to just go click. The cabin's by far in a better state it has previously been in. Gaichu is seated in the lotus position, eyes closed, his fingertips rest on a braille reader. Oh, that's pretty smart. That is plugged into his PDA. The device fills the room with a soft clicking from the pin combinations. As you approach, he lifts his hands from the reader's surface. Hello again, Hollywood. Is there something I can assist you with? Looks like you've carved out a nice little spot here. If you say so, I doubt it would be suitable for others, but I do not require much by way of space, and I have few possessions. So long as I have a quiet area in which I can sit and relax, I am happy. Now, what is it you wish to discuss? What are you reading? Gaichu draws himself up, folding his palms in his lap. With one toe, he pushes the braille reader away. It's called Hagakure, Hidden Leaves, written by Yamamoto Tsunemoto? Tsunemoto, as a treat on what it means to be a samurai, and how one should best serve one's lord. Required reading for the Red Samurai, unsurprisingly. Looking for hidden meaning? I have it memorized, but sometimes I've found that reading the words reveals new meanings, yes. I may have left my old life behind, but old habits are the hardest to shake. The author has a central thesis. Where there is a question of life or death, always choose death. Throw oneself into the fray with no resignations, and act on instinct alone. My current state of affairs speaks the truth of this more robustly than any lesson in a dojo. So, what's the rest of the book about? Gaichu ticks off the points by unfurling successive fingers. It is partly a manual of proper behavior towards one's lord, partly a rumination of the mindset required to be victorious in combat, and partly a collection of stories. Sunto believed that to truly embody the virtues of a samurai, adherents should be mindful of their path at all times. Never stop training, always question how one's actions reflect on their lord. Above all, be prepared to do a duty instinctively at any time, no matter what the cost. Sounds like a dangerous path to walk. I am certain it is. But what choice do you have? Without a cure for my condition, all that I am able to do is embrace the reality of what I have become. I do not seem like much of a choice at all. It does not seem like much of a choice at all to me. What does he say about Masterless Samurai? 7 times done, 8 times up. Gaichu smiles thinly, wrapping a claw on the hilt of his sword. More specifically, if a samurai has not been a ronin at least 7 times, then he has not truly lived as a samurai. Those were different times, however. It was common for samurai to fall out of favor with their lord and be turned loose to wander. For company men like myself, the choice is serve or die. Is there anything else you would like to ask? So, this is in part why I really love these characters. Because Gaichu and Raptor added this... It's a learning experience talking to them. You learn some things, which I really like. Let's just see what happens if I do this. Because I would like to ask him about something very important. Okay. What about being a ghoul? Gaichu cocks his head at you, his milky eyes narrowing mirthfully, preparing for the eventuality of killing me and collecting the bounty. Make sure you leave my face intact. I'd prefer to be well preserved, trophy. Maybe I could sell your body to an herb shop, one of the stodgy traditional ones. Gaichu burst out laughing, slapping his knee. I can see it now, 8,000 new yen an ounce for powdered ghoul bones, guaranteed to cure arthritis, and to balance the flow of blood in your liver. Gaichu grows serious, leaning back. If you wish to know about what it is like to be me, ask away. I see no reason to conceal the details of my condition. Most ghouls smell like crap, why don't you? Diet and cleanliness. Most ghouls eat rotting flesh and do not bathe. I eat fresh meat and bathe regularly. Okay. What's the deal with the teeth? What deal are you referring to? Did you file them down into those points? No, they were actually new teeth created by the infection. I suppose it is a natural advantage to have teeth that are suited for carnivorous pursuits. Makes sense. Let's talk about something else. What about your dad bailing you out? That had to be fun. Ah, that's the best. Ah, yes, I do recall you asking about that. Gaichu... Ha. Sorry, sometimes I get like caught up on words and I get slightly angry at myself. Is something the matter? No, Gaichu purses his lips and sighs heavily. No, everything's fine. I will tell you what you wish to know. I simply have not spoken of my family in a long time. Are you close? Not any longer. I have not seen my father for many years, nor my mother or sister. I wish I could say that I miss them, but I feel that I hardly know them after so many years apart. Yasujiro gave me an ultimatum after my run-in with Shawase. He told me that he had cut a background deal with the rival in Shawase to keep me out of prison. The charges would be suspended if I finished high school and studied at Kyoto University with the intent of joining Renraku. If I did not, Shawase would take me into custody and I would spend time in prison. What did it cost him? I have no idea. He refused to reveal what he had been forced to do in exchange, but I cannot imagine it was cheap. Insider information, perhaps? A deliberately botched contract? Yasujiro was a manager in the Water and Power Division, so the deal would have been lucrative but not secret. I had always taken my family for granted, raised in a Renraku family, going to Renraku schools. I had always had a sense of place, of belonging where I was. The thought of all of that vanishing, I simply could not imagine it. Suddenly, the reality of my actions became clear. Gaichu runs his fingers over his bald scalp, smiling distantly. From then on, I tried to be the son he wanted, and he seemed glad for it, which means we grew much closer over the next few years. He took time off to visit me when I was living in Kyoto. Why would that be unusual? He was a very busy man in those days, a lot of responsibility and very little time to himself. I was impressed that he could carve off as much time as he did, just to go camping with his son. There's a lot of wilderness in Japan? Oh, this is very long, very much so. The land around Kyoto is protected for development due to historical and cultural significance. Most of the mountains are considered sacred. They would hunt. And this is also how he learned how to prepare meat. I'm actually kind of wondering how I should fix this in. We have a little more of Gaichu's story to go over. So you know what? I think I'm going to end this episode here. I'm going to put this up as something slightly different, and then we'll keep going from there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.